All right, welcome everyone. This is going to be chapter 8. It's such a great chapter, and Tracy's going to be leading us and controlling the helm. And so we're so excited about that. Again, remember, we love group discussion. That's what makes these so great. So please speak up. I want to hear from each of you at least once before we're done with this fabulous 30 minutes, please. So, all right. And don't be afraid. Tracy's not afraid to call on you. I know her. She's
being a teacher by trade, that's what I do. So anyway.
So you might as well volunteer when you're feeling the moment. So, all right, Tracy, I'll turn it over to you. And I do want to say last week, I'm so sorry, Renee recorded for us, but somehow it didn't end up in my cloud or on her computer. We don't know what happened, but I will just share. I'm going to look for the recording that Tamara did for her group, and I'll share that one instead for chapter 7. But I'm recording this one, so we're all good, and I'm home. Well, at my temporary home.
Right.
It's supposed to be move-in day, but then all heck broke loose this morning. So fun.
Yeah.
All right.
That's okay. We'll get there.
Take it away, Tracy. Thank you.
Awesome. So this chapter isn't as long as some of the previous chapters. So I'm hoping that you guys will have some good thoughts to share. I think this chapter, I thought chapter 7 was my chapter because the whole goal-free zones, when it was given to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally where I'm at right now. But I really feel like this chapter made me reach more into my thoughts. And so, and I'm just going to say it. I don't even know how to answer the first part of these questions for the protect section because I don't know. And so let's talk about that really quick. We all have read the chapter. So I recap and do like a summary of it, but I do want you to be interactive as possible. So that I can get your thoughts and we can share each other's awarenesses that way. So, and like I said, being a teacher by trade, I like to make sure my students are talking and having communication. So, sorry, we're gonna chat here. One of my biggest takeaways from this chapter is, well, I have two that I can really talk about. The first one was when he was talking about punishing yourself and have you ever thought this way about punishing yourself or punishing someone because of your successes? And the whole I will show you like thought process that we go through. I don't know if you all have ever had that go through your mind when you're going through different stages of life or in your job or in your personal life or whatever it might be, or even in your business right now. I don't have that I'll show you with my business, but I challenge myself every day to make me, I'm more aware that I can do it. And so I kind of have twisted my thought process a little bit there. I'll show you, but what I did take away from this portion of it was his story about Mary Kay, when he talked about that she was told that, she can't do it, you're a woman, you're never going to be successful, blah, 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 blah. Well, I liked what he said, that does this drive you or does this hold you back? And I really feel like that's a powerful question in twofold, because sometimes that perception of I'll show you would really hold somebody back and question yourself and like, what am I doing? I can't do this. This is not me. I'll never be good enough. And I don't think that we should think like that at all. But if you have that type of thought process going, that's your head talking, that's head trash. You need to clear your mind and make some affirmations for yourself. Because I think that in my mindset, and this is just me personally, my opinion, is when I heard that, it makes me drive myself in a different way, because my own personal life, I've had this happen to me where, I know all of you know, I'm a teacher, I've said that already, but in the beginning of my teaching, and I won't take too long to go over it, but in the beginning of my teaching, when I did my student teaching, I had this type of situation occur, and where I was told that I couldn't do it. I was actually told that I wouldn't be able to teach for 3 years because my master teacher wrote a horrible confidential outcome of my student teaching that nobody knew about, and threw me out under my credentials. And I got a letter in the mail from my college saying that I could not reapply to be a teacher for 3 full years. And I was devastated. Wow. And all those years of teaching college and all of that, and ready to just start teaching in the fall, was taken away from me. So in my life, I see that this "I'll show you" has kind of, and this is where I thought of this for this portion, was this situation in where I had to persevere, and I had to find my way to get to the sources that could help me further my career and further my teaching ability. Because I wasn't going to wait 3 years. I mean, this is what I quit my job. I was going to be a teacher. And so this is where I was headed. And long story short, it came to be that everything turned out. We had a meeting, conference, and all of these things, and I had to redo some of my student teaching to pacify them. But over the years now, I've been teaching 17 years now, and so over the years, this thought has been in the back of my mind that I'm going to show her. So this is where I would punish her. I'm going to show her that I can do this. I'm going to show her that I am the teacher that I know I am, and that I am capable of doing all of these things. So as my career has gone, I started out with, being a classroom teacher. I moved up to different grade. I got into teaching our gifted and talented children. And I did all of these other things in my career. And now I'm a coordinator of our school that we just became a magnet school. So, and I saw her, which is very ironic here. I saw her at a meeting about a month ago, and my body froze. I didn't know what to do. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to show her. I'm going to show her that I am who I am now. And she wanted to stop that. So you know what I mean? It's like, it happens in your personal life. And I'm sure all of us have a story, whether it's personal or otherwise. But that's what hit me when I heard that part, because I do Audible. When I heard him talk about that portion, this story just ran through my mind. So that was my biggest takeaway. And the other one, really quickly, was all about fear. It was a section where he talked about fear, and I love the acronym, the false evidence appearing real. And I thought about that, and I was like, that's so true. That's just so true, that fear is only what we make of it, and it's only that we lack confidence in certain areas, and that's also head trash. So fear, it's crazy. Like he was saying that you might as well just try what you're fearful of, because you're already afraid of it. So you might as well just try it. In so many words, I paraphrase that, but in the gist of that was what he was saying. So he's like, stop beating yourself up and live by the principles. And so I really took those 2 pieces of this chapter to my own life. And then the fearful portion is for my business, because I do have some fears, and I think we all do. And that's part of our learning and our process in growing. And I think that that's something that once we become more confident and we just kind of say, I'm over this fear, I'm going to push through, I'm going to hit it head on. And I think we'll just kind of go through the whole process and work itself out. But I want to hear from you guys, because I think this was really, like I said, it was a powerful chapter that made you really think. And he started out the chapter just asking us, who are you trying to protect, punish, or please? And when you think about those three P's, until he broke it down, I didn't understand really like the protection part. I've been pondering this all week long as I've been reading through it and rereading and writing notes and rereading and thinking. I haven't been able to figure for myself who I'm trying to protect. I don't feel like I am. Maybe it hasn't come to me yet. But how about you guys? Did anyone have this epiphany for this portion of the protection piece? Because I'm at a loss. I just don't feel like I am protecting somebody.
I think what he's saying, it's not like you have to have all three components in your life, but just that those are three components that often affect different people to different degrees. You only may relate to one of them and not the other two. But this is just another chapter that I find that is just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And one of the interesting things in relation to fear is that I've always held on to that acronym of false evidence appearing real. That initially applied, I have it's kind of an unreasonable fear of flying, even though I have flown tons in my life. It's just the last decade or so, every time I get up in a plane, I'm like, and I'm never comfortable or relaxed until the wheels are on the ground again. And so something else that he said that I thought for me was even more powerful is that fear is an emotion that is based on pain. So you fear what you're afraid of because you are afraid that there is some pain associated with it. But the thing in relation to that is that the emotion itself doesn't prevent anything from happening. So you can acknowledge the emotion of fear in relation to something, but I think it's just that trigger to help you dig deeper and to understand more clearly what is the pain that you're afraid of. So that was just kind of another layer that has gotten me thinking. I haven't got to the bottom of it yet, though.
I think it's a work in progress for everybody, unless somebody else has the answer. But yeah, I agree with that. Especially the fear factor. I think that's a big piece of our, I'll call it a puzzle, I suppose. But I did like the ideas that he had in the chapter and some of his takeaways for that, especially for the protection part. But has anybody else had any situation that they would like to share about the punishing part? Who feel like you're punishing? Are you punishing someone in lieu of finding your success? Do you find that you're halting yourself because of that?
I had two thoughts that really occurred to me with this chapter that I never, ever realized were in my subconscious. The first one, this one wasn't really a thought or something that was in my subconscious, but I will never forget when, the first time around when we were with Leah Sophia Jewelry and we felt it was right for Monty to quit his job and be home with the family and help me out. His brother-in-law was his employee or his employer at that time. And when he went and talked to him about it, he was going to put in his notice or whatever, then he was such a brat to Monty. He was like, "Are you kidding me? You're going to quit your job to go help your wife sell jewelry." Totally shot him down for it. And so that was kind of oh yeah, we'll show you, to Monty and I. We both kind of had that attitude about it, and we definitely did all that we could do there. But another one this one was a deeper, more an aha moment for me was when I realized that without really intentionally putting any thought into it, I'd kind of been holding myself back up until probably the second time I read through this book is when I really realized how much I'd been doing this. But I'd been kind of holding myself back just because, to me, Monty's always been a really strong provider for our family, and he respects that role, and he wants to be the breadwinner for our family. And so knowing that, it was kind of hard for me to think that I'm taking that away from him. being the sole provider for our family. But at the same time, what the color personalities helped me realize, and this book helped me realize, is that he can still be the sole provider for our family and provide a much more generous income for our family by taking full advantage of this opportunity rather than, working a separate job. And once we both realized that, then it took away that hesitation for me that I'd been using to hold myself back, because I always kind of had that thought in the back of my mind, but I never really addressed it or looked at it. It was just always there. I was just kind of always like, well, how's Monty going to feel about this? You know what I mean? Like, does this bother him? But then to bring that up to him and talk about it and say, hey, wait, that doesn't have to be the case. Like, you really have so much value to bring to the table here that this could be your role to be the provider. You know what I mean? So that was a big, big deal for me. That was probably one of my most valuable takeaways from this book, because I never would have thought that I was holding myself back because of that until that chapter came up the way it did. And I was like, whoa, so to me, that was big.
Anyone else have thoughts on that? Or any portion of what might have connected with you, or where you were like, whoa, that pulled my heartstrings? Okay, I'm going to pull names out of the hat. Okay.
My name, I was kind of me and my little sister. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter touched my thing and it stopped my video for a minute. But anyway, me and my little sister are only 16 months apart. And we both do hair. We both worked in the same salon for 15 years, We've both just recently moved to our homes. And it kind of hit me that I think I am holding myself back to protect her, because I don't want to leave her in the dust, if that makes sense, or overshadow her or anything like that, which was kind of funny. It was weird for me that would be something that was holding me back. So I guess and I didn't know I'd get emotional. This is weird. So I guess I need to dig deeper into those feelings and see, how do you get over that? You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know. And that's hard, because he doesn't really say that to us on like a solution. It's more of, let's write it down in the journal and how would you respond to it? So I think it's more of how we kind of move forward with it and how we can deal with that, but still be successful at what we want to do with it.
I have something to add to that, Renee. He does. Yeah. You remember when he asks you? So I'm pretty sure there's a part, it's so brief, but he does mention how does this serve you? To allow yourself to hold yourself back, because he used the example of the woman that was afraid that her husband would leave her if she was more successful in him. And so he said, how does that serve you? It's not to say that that's wrong, that you're holding yourself back for that, Renee, but how does that serve her? In all honesty, is it serving her that you're not living up to your full potential and blessing your family the way you could be, because you are worried that it will upset her or make her feel less valuable? Is that what she would want for you to do? In all honesty, would she? You've got to maybe even have that conversation with her if that's what you feel like you need to do. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just need to have the conversation with yourself. But he does ask you, you holding yourself back for that reason, how does it serve you, and how does it serve that person that you're holding yourself back for? So how does it serve you? How does it serve her?
And how does she not know that it might motivate her to want to follow her own path and find her own journey to her own success, whatever that might be for her?
Yeah, even if it's not plexus or whatever.
Yeah.
And are you feeling like, Renee, that falls into the pleasing portion of the conversation? Because it does go through that. And one of the things I did write down that he mentioned, what are you afraid of? Is it disapproval? Is it not looking good in someone else's eyes? And I think sometimes we subconsciously we do have those thoughts in our minds when we're looking for pleasing others or not being in the right mindset or like the eyes of others. Maybe that's where your mind is thinking. So I agree with Janelle on that. I think maybe just kind of dig and see where you're finding yourself on that level. Because I think you're a yellow, right, Renee?
Yeah.
Yeah. So pleasers. And so I think when we can't please people, it affects us differently. And so we do get emotional about that, especially when it's so close to us, like your sister or a situation. And I think that's going to be a little, maybe, I don't want to say harder, but it could be a little bit harder because we are such people pleasers, that personality trait.
Right. But I want to believe, Renee, that would really upset her to know that you're holding yourself back because of that. I don't think that she would want that. She would not want that for you, you know? I mean, if she really genuinely loves you. So it might even need to be a conversation you need to have with her just to kind of get it off of your shoulders. You know what I mean? And release it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a resource in the back of the book that says the Freedom Power Pack, Renee. I've never gone that far to look at it, but it might be something you might want to look at.
That's true. I read that today.
In the chapter it says contingency strategies that you might want to look into. But if your sister has a heart as big as you, and I know she probably does, she would be heartbroken to know that you feel the way that you do. So
Yeah.
Lori, what were you going to say? It looked like you wanted to say something. Oh, she can't hear her. Her audio's not working.
Lori, you can type in the chat if your audio is not working.
We'll catch up to her. Has anyone else had any thoughts about any other part of the chapter that really kind of resonated with them? Lorraine, do you have anything that you wrote down? You're like, whoa.
Well, I didn't really notice until we sat down and started talking about it. And I thought when he asked, who am I trying to protect? I think it's me.
How?
I think I'm trying to protect me because I'm so afraid of success.
Do you know why? Do you know, is it the fear of just being successful or not knowing how to handle that?
Yeah, not knowing how to handle it. Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that in our Maui challenge a little bit. Some of our the challenges were where we had to really dig deep and think about those types of things, and so that was really powerful to go through that. So I totally understand what you're saying, but I think maybe some of us do protect ourselves because we don't know what to do with that next. Like we build up this team, and then it's like the now what syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Whoa. Can I handle that? Am I able to? And I think you're absolutely right. I think maybe that's something to consider.
Yeah.
I think it ties into the not only the can we handle it, but can we maintain it? And I know for myself, that's huge, to reach a particular level of success. And when you tie that into the I'll show you, and so you show them, and then what happens if it doesn't work out again? Then you're worse off than you were before, because then they're saying, I told you. So I think that fear factor in not allowing yourself to succeed, out of the fear, I think, of disappointing others or having them turn that I told you right back on yourself again, makes it hard to let yourself succeed.
Right. Right. I agree. Lori, did you want to jump in?
Back, I never had my microphone turned on because my husband's like, "Oh, you should turn your microphone off." Whatever. I was just gonna say to Renee in the chapter 6, I believe, when it was talking about familiar zone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the whole thing is that Renee is comfortable with her sister, and it could even be a fear of her leaving that familiarity, because that would be uncomfortable because, Renee, you've done it for so long. That was the thought that came to me. It's not necessarily a comfort zone. It may just be the familiar. You've been with her, and the wondering of what it would be like not to be there by your sister.
That's true. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That's a great connection on how you got.
How did you not get that? With me muted, I just don't know why.
I was trying to read your lips, but it just wasn't working. So we have just a couple minutes left. It's 6:28 on my computer. Benna, hi. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us tonight, Benna? Any takeaways that like your heartstrings on this chapter?
No, but dang it, when I finally got back on, I forgot to turn off my mic and my video. Oh, well.
Because now we can see you.
I didn't get some of it because I didn't have internet for a minute. But I'm just afraid of a lot of things. I got to get over it.
It's
so you're all good.
Yeah. It's the head trash. I think that has a huge part of it, honestly. I think there are some stopping points as well that kind of hold us back, but we need to think about that, persevere, running through that so that we can reap the benefits of success as we go through. But I think that just hearing this, one of the other things I did really quick was in the very beginning of the chapter where he was talking about the protection and just going over the 3 P's. He said, is your foot on the brake or are you driving your success? So I'd like to kind of leave us with that pondering thought, because I want you to think about where you're at and where you want to be. Because if your foot's on the brake, you're always going to halt yourself. But if you are the driving force, then you'll see that these areas can be fixed and overcome. It's not going to happen overnight necessarily, but I think that if we think about the direction we want to go, that we all can be the driving force and we all will succeed. So leave that foot off the brake and let autopilot take you where you want to go.
What a great way to wrap that up, Tracy. I love that. That was
Thank you.
Powerful. Wow. I got chills there. Big moments. Don't you love how some of this, like, it doesn't fully process, even as you're reading the book, even if this is the second or third time you've read the book and you've done the exercises, like when we're all having the group discussion, it's so powerful. I love it. That's awesome. So thanks everyone that added valuable input, which was everyone. So we're grateful for that. Thanks for leading us in a wonderful way, Tracy. You guys are amazing. And if you'll all please just pray over the new website with me tonight. I would appreciate that. So we're getting there. It's awesome. It's going to be great. But yeah, I think that having the best sale ever combined with a brand new website that wasn't complete yet was just a really
bad idea.
Traffic jam. And I love that they wanted to help us with a really great sale, but the timing maybe wasn't the best. So it's all good. We'll just laugh about this in a few days. We'll laugh about it. So anyways, I love you guys. Thanks for being on, and I'll post the recording soon. Have a great night.
Hey, you too.
Next week.
Oh. Cheers. Oh, look, signed off. Do you see how she did that?
I saw. Wow.
We might have to just throw her on it. Mm-hmm. Who has it? I don't know already. I'm trying to think back.
Lori hasn't done one with this round, has she?
I did chapter 4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I did
right.
affirmations.
That's right.
Yeah. I could ask Janelle.
Okay.
Janelle did a chapter.
She did one already too.
I
Yeah,
can't
she
even
did
remember who's done it this time around and who did it last time around.
You did one, Amy. You did.
I did one, yeah.
Yeah. So everyone in the picture tonight, has Benna, have you done one?
Oh, Benna.
I tried to leave the meeting. I tried to leave.
She tried to leave really fast. I love her.
I tried. I would love to.
Awesome. Chapter 9 with Venna Ray.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Read it, do the exercises, girls. We're getting so close to the end already.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't want to stop. I want to keep doing it over and over, but I'm sure we probably should move on. So,
Yeah.
okay, all right, you guys have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.